Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Amtrak Guest Rewards Preferred Mastercard. So I'll be going over the main features of this card, its pros as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a much better idea of whether or not this credit card is a good fit for you. But before we go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $10,000 in free stocks, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Moomoo. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then deposit at least $100. At that point, Moomoo will be sending you at least 5 free stocks worth all the way up to $10,000. Okay, so diving right into the main features of the Amtrak credit card. First off, we are going to be talking about points and how you can earn them with this card. So you will be earning 3 points per dollar spent on Amtrak travel, including onboard purchases as well. Then you'll be earning 2 points per dollar spent on dining, travel, transit, and rideshare. And then finally, on all other transactions, you will be earning 1 point per dollar spent. Now, with this card, you can also earn a spend bonus as well. So as long as you're able to spend at least $1,000 within the first 3 months of having this card, you will be receiving a spend bonus of 20,000 points. Now, as far as how much these points are worth, in general, they're worth around 2.67 cents each. So then 20,000 points for the spend bonus, just for an example, would be worth right around $534 as far as Amtrak travel goes. Now with this card, you can also earn some other pretty sweet perks as well. So just for an example, you will be receiving a 20% rebate on onboard food and beverage purchases. This is going to be in the form of a statement credit though. You'll also be receiving a round trip companion coupon upon account opening and card anniversary. Then you'll be receiving 1 class upgrade upon account opening and card anniversary as well. You'll also be receiving a station lounge pass upon account opening and card anniversary. You can also earn 1,000 tier qualifying points each time you make $5,000 in qualifying purchases. This can help you earn tier status that much faster. Also, your points don't expire, so you don't have to be in a large rush to use your points once earning them, as they never expire. Like some credit cards out there, they might expire after like a year or something like that if you don't use them. With this one, you don't have to worry about that. Then on top of that, you're also going to be receiving a 5% point rebate when you redeem your points for Amtrak travel. So there's going to be a pretty good perk there. And then finally, if you happen to travel outside the country, this is a credit card you can definitely take with you, as there are not going to be any foreign transaction fees. So that's a pretty good perk as well. So now that we went over the main features of this card at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and dive into the APR and fees, because of course this is also super important as well. So starting out, your purchase APR is going to be 28.24%. Then as far as balance transfers go, with this card, there's not going to be much of a point in doing a balance transfer, at least starting out, as your APR is going to be very high at 28.24%. Now later down the line, they might offer you an incentive like a 0% balance transfer if you perform it within a certain period of time, and you'll have that for like 12 months. But starting out, it's not going to be all that worth it, as your balance transfer APR will be 28.24%. Then as far as cash advances go on this channel, we usually recommend to stay far away from cash advances. This of course should not be considered financial advice, just my own personal reasons. Usually with them you have a very high interest rate, plus you have to pay a lot of fees as well. But if you do decide to take out a cash advance with this card, just know that your APR on them is going to be a whopping 29.74%. Plus, you will have to pay a lot of fees as well, which we are going to dive into right now. So as far as the fees go on the cash advance, it's going to be either $15 or 5% of the amount of each cash advance, whichever happens to be greater. Then as far as the balance transfers go, even though starting out it's not going to be worth it to do a balance transfer just because of the super high APR, if later down the line perhaps they have an offer of like 0% for an example, and it's something that you want to take advantage of because currently you have another credit card where you're paying a lot of interest on a month-to-month basis, and you want to transfer the balance from that card over to this card, if this card eventually ends up being a 0% interest rate for those balance transfers, is not going to be completely free, because there are going to be fees associated with each balance transfer that you do carry out. And right now, those fees are going to be either $10 or 5% of the amount of each balance transfer, whichever happens to be greater. Then on top of that, if you happen to pay late, there's also going to be a fee with this card for paying late as well. That fee is going to be $40. Now, if you happen to pay late, at least for the first time, you could always try calling into the bank to see if they will waive that fee for like a one-time convenience. I definitely wouldn't push your luck. This is not something that's guaranteed, but sometimes banks will waive the fee for the first time. However, I definitely would not push your luck, and maybe you might want to set up auto pay. Mark your calendar, do whatever you have to do. Make sure that you are paying on time so you will be able to avoid that $40 late payment fee. Then also there's going to be a fee if you happen to have a return payment. That fee is going to be up to $35 as well. Now, like I mentioned earlier on, if you do happen to travel outside of the country, this is a card you can definitely take with you, because with this card there are no foreign transaction fees. However, you will have a fee just for having this card on a year-to-year basis. There is an annual fee. The annual fee with this card is $99. So each and every year you will have to sit back and evaluate whether or not keeping this card on a year-to-year basis is worth it if you're receiving enough in benefits, if you're receiving at least $99 back in benefits to make paying for this card $99 every single year. So now that we went over the main features of this card as well as the APR and fees, at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the best things about this credit card and the worst things about this credit card. So we're going to start out with the pros. So starting out, you will have that spend bonus offer of 20,000 bonus points as long as you're able to spend at least $1,000 within the first 3 months of having this card. That's only going to be right around $333 in spend every single month for the first 3 months. So it's a pretty easy spend bonus for most people to achieve. And once again, those 20,000 bonus points are going to be worth a little bit over $500 in Amtrak travel. So you'll definitely be getting a pretty good perk with that. Then on top of that, you're going to be earning 3 points per dollar spent on Amtrak travel, including onboard purchases as well. Then you're going to be earning 2 points per dollar spent on dining, travel, transit, and rideshare. So you can definitely rack up quite a few points with this card. Then you can also receive a round trip companion coupon upon account opening, as well as each account anniversary as well. And then you're also going to be receiving 1 class upgrade upon your account opening and card anniversary as well. And then finally, with this card, there are no foreign transaction fees, so it's a pretty good benefit as well. So those are the good things about this credit card. Now we're going to go ahead and dive into the drawbacks. So the first drawback, of course, is that annual fee. Once again, every single year of having this card, you do have to pay $99 just for having it. So you're really going to have to evaluate whether or not you're getting at least $99 in benefits back in, because you are going to be paying $99 for this card every single year. So for some people, it might be worth paying $99 for. For others, you may not be getting the value to make it worth paying $99 for. And then of course, on all other transactions other than the 3 and 2 point category, you are only going to be earning 1 point per dollar spent, which is on the low end. So it's going to be things like groceries and gas. In those two categories, you might want to consider using another credit card. And for a lot of folks, spending on groceries ends up being the bulk of their transactions. So obviously that could be a pretty big drawback. And then finally, with this card, you're also not going to be receiving an introductory APR on purchases, nor are you going to be receiving an introductory APR on balance transfers. So that's a drawback as well. Not necessarily a terrible thing, because you won't have to pay interest as long as you are paying your balance on time and in full. But with some of the other credit cards out there on the market, you do have that perk where you can put some large transactions up front if you need to, and you don't necessarily have to pay off the balance within the grace period, as they will have that 0% introductory APR for the first 12 to 18 months. But again, this isn't necessarily that big of a deal. So just to sum things up here, if you use Amtrak at least 1 time per year and you think that you'll get use out of all those bonus points, it's probably going to be worth it for you. However, for those of you who really don't use Amtrak all that much, then in your case, it's probably not going to be the best fit for you. But that's all we have for today's review. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.